that seriously?
I think it's, first of all, because it is fairly common. It happens a lot on the athletic fields. We've seen it for years. That's one reason. Another reason is the symptoms do seem transient. Someone may have lightheadedness, they may have headaches. That subsides. It does get better. But what does linger, or what can linger, are difficulties with cognitive functioning or thinking abilities. Those difficulties may seem very, very subtle, and sometimes they're not even recognized. But what the research has shown is that they build over the years.
So later in life, they have what? Depression? They have relationship problems?
They may have a myriad of symptoms, and that may depend on the number of concussions they've had, the severity of the concussions they've had. But what can happen later in life, if someone may have difficulty with their memory functioning, have trouble remembering things in their everyday world, have trouble learning new information, and they also may have emotional difficulties.
As long as 6 years ago, high school athletes, certainly maybe younger, were getting baseline brain scans. Yes. So they know what the brains look like. They're taught about symptoms and what to watch for on the field. They have to stay out for a month. Sometimes that's not enough. In the case of a child who died at Montclair High 6 years ago, that was not enough. But are there training techniques like heads-up training that help?
Heads-up training is a great start, and I think for our professional athletes, it really is a very good path to go down. When you're thinking about an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, 10-year-old out on a football field, and they're in a position where they are in a play and tackling, it's very difficult for someone at that age to remember, keep my head up and lead with my shoulder. So I think while heads-up training may be very effective for our older and more experienced athletes, I think there is concern with the younger athletes and their ability to actually carry through on that type of a technique.
And since at that age they think they're immortal, it's very hard to talk to them about.
And they have their entire lives ahead of them.
What are the techniques you use to help people restore memory function?
We have done a substantial amount of work on a technique called the modified story memory technique. And what this technique does is it teaches a person to use imagery and context to facilitate learning. Our research has shown that by doing that, what we're actually doing is engaging additional regions of the brain in the task of learning information. So what may previously have largely gone through one region of the brain for information to become solidified is now engaging additional areas in creating a mental image surrounding an idea and in putting it in a larger context. The treatment we've developed is a 10-session treatment protocol, so it's not very long. And it's done, we usually do it twice a week for 5 weeks, and by the end, we're seeing brain changes.
And if you do it early when the kids are younger,